if you know this, but evangelical Christians don't have a great reputation in the wider culture at the moment. Now, some of that is certainly well earned because of their allegiance with Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. But a lot of that negative baggage goes back decades earlier. One key factor that really has contributed to the negative reputation of evangelicals is the perception that they are duplicitous, manipulative, that they build relationships with other people, much like an Amway salesperson builds a relationship so that they can get you signed up to Amway. So the Christian builds a relationship with you or initiates a conversation with you to the end of making you a Christian. Now, there is an aspect of that that I think we should all not only be sympathetic to, but in fact admire. And that aspect is that if you believe something and you are convinced that it's really true and that it's important, then you should want other people to come to hold the same belief that you do. For example, let's say that there's a dangerous disease spreading through the country, but there's a new vaccine that inoculates you effectively against the disease, or at least you believe it does. Well, that's information that you believe to be true and obviously very important. So if you value other people and you want to protect them from the disease, you're going to want to share with them that information. Or I'll give you a much more trivial example. Years ago, we bought a Dyson vacuum cleaner. And for years, I'd heard about, oh, you got to try the Dyson. The Dyson's amazing. This will put your Hoover out to pasture. So we got a Dyson. And pretty soon I found myself talking about the Dyson with people in conversation because I wanted them to buy a Dyson. I wasn't getting a kickback from Dyson. I simply valued the vacuum cleaner, I valued clean carpet, and I valued my friend. And so I shared with him information about the Dyson vacuum cleaner. And that's what you do if you have information that you believe to be a relative importance or weight and you believe it's true and you value the other person is you'll want them to come to hold those same beliefs. So I get on the one hand why an evangelical wants to make conversions. Every Christian should, and it's not just Christians. Whatever your belief system, if you presumably think it's true, if you believe it, and if you think it's important, you should want other people to come to hold similar beliefs, and you should be interested in initiating conversations with them that can bring about or facilitate their openness to your beliefs or perhaps their conversion to your beliefs. We should all have that mindset. That's not the problem. The conversionist impulse in that broad sense is not the issue. The issue is that the way that conservative evangelicals tend to approach that whole conversation of sharing one's beliefs, of seeking to bring about evangelistic persuasion in others, can come across as manipulative and inappropriate. And this is where something like Thanksgiving dinner comes in. And this is where the presentation of an evangelical as being like an Amway salesperson comes in, where it's now it merges into this interesting space that it's no longer simply, hey, we're having a conversation, and in the course of shared life together, topics emerge like, oh, my Dyson vacuum cleaner, or oh, this vaccine I think is really important, or oh, my Christian faith. But rather, it's not natural and honest. It rather seems to be manipulative and planned. And when it becomes manipulative and planned, like the Amway salesperson initiating these conditions where they can try to get you to buy into Amway, then it becomes manipulative and very off-putting. And that's what gives evangelicals a negative reputation. And that brings us to a tweet from Frank Turek that I want to take a look at. So here's the tweet. He says, he initiates it like this. This is really interesting. He says, are you dreading the holiday dinners where you'll be in close proximity with loved ones who aren't Christians? Just think about that for a moment. Why would somebody think that? Why would they ask that? And more generally, why would a person dread being in close proximity with loved ones simply because they aren't Christians? If that is if that describes you, I'm going to be honest right now. Okay. If you dread the prospect of being in close proximity with people simply because they're not Christians, there is already something profoundly malformative about your Christian discipleship. You've already been malformed. And if that's the case, then anything else Frank Turek is going to say in this video about how to initiate conversion conversations with people at Thanksgiving dinner is not going to be helpful for you because you've already been distorted and malformed in such a view that you view it as very negative, aversive to be in close proximity with other people. In fact, you should love to be with other people. I mean, he describes these as family members and loved ones. Of course, you should long to be in close proximity with loved ones, irrespective of whether they're not Christian, the Christians or not. But you should love to be in close proximity with human beings generally, because they're human beings, because they're made in the image of God, because they're of infinite value and importance, irrespective of whatever their beliefs are. Their beliefs don't change their value or the fact that you should desire to be close to them and in proximity with them and in a relationship with them. And if you're only comfortable being in relationship or interacting with people who share your basic religious beliefs, there's something malformative about your beliefs. Okay, let's come back, take another look at the tweet and just debrief a little bit more. So then Turek goes on and says, well, let's explore 10 practical strategies to help you navigate holiday faith conversations. And then this 50-second video here is a teaser for his longer video about how to advance the gospel at holiday dinners. I was going to play a clip of the video. There's really no point. I mean, he just in the teaser, he just says things like, "Oh, agree with people occasionally when they make a point, because then they'll be more likely to listen to you, and help out cleaning in the kitchen because they'll be more likely to want to listen to you." And he gives advice like that. But this captures for me perfectly the difference between the thing I talked about at the beginning of this video, which is just the natural desire in the course of life to share the things that you believe to be true and important with others and to hear what they believe to be true and important because you value the other person and they value you. The difference between that and manipulation that is so common in conservative evangelical approaches to evangelism, where they seek to manipulate by initiating conversations and viewing something like a shared dinner at Thanksgiving as a place to implement 10 strategies to convert you to their belief system. That becomes very manipulative. And I'm going to just say, if you think about it, for those evangelicals uh, who aren't persuaded by this as being off-putting, imagine if you have a family member who converts to Islam, and every time they come for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, you know that they've been reading and listening to Muslim apologist videos, and they've come equipped with all the strategies where they're going to try to convert you to Islam. And when they come in to the kitchen after dinner and they are the one who wants to scrub the broiler pan in which the turkey was made, and you know that they're doing that because they believe that'll be an effective strategy to get you to listen to their apologetic about Muhammad later in the evening, that's probably going to negatively impact your view of their contribution to cleaning up after the meal because it comes across as manipulative. And if you can't see that same perception now redounds upon you as an evangelical who simply views Thanksgiving dinner as an opportunity for you to try to persuade other people to your belief system by implementing your 10 strategies that were outlined by Frank Turek. If you can't see that, then you'll never get over the problem that evangelicals have and why they are often very unpopular guests at Thanksgiving dinners.